Are you serving in the military and are getting relocated to Fort Gregg Adams, aka Fort Lee? Well, we're about to show you what you can buy if you're getting relocated and you need housing in the area. Let's go.
Hey guys, this is Galen Parker and Jared Davis. Welcome to our YouTube channel, Living in Richmond, Virginia. If you have not done so already, please click the link below, like and subscribe. Looking for your dream home, looking to sell a home, we are the people to reach out in this area.
That's right. So what we're doing today, we know there are a lot of soldiers that get influxed into what I've always known as Fort Lee. Now it's Fort Gregg Adams. So throughout this video, you're probably going to hear us revert back to Fort Lee just because it's what we know it as. But we are standing in Colonial Heights. We're at South Park Mall. You can see the mall behind us. Regal Cinemas right here. That's going to be essentially a big hub outside of Fort Lee. When you exit Fort Lee, you end up driving straight into Colonial Heights, and South Park is right on your left. It's going to be a very large shopping district. You're only about 30 minutes from the city of Richmond, but if you're actually getting stationed on base, you're probably going to want to find some housing closer to the base. So what we're going to do today, we're going to show you 4 different houses with 4 different options. We're going to show you a house in Colonial Heights. We're about to do that next. Then we'll head to Chester, just outside of Colonial Heights into the county of Chesterfield, but still a short commute in. Then we'll head down to Petersburg. Petersburg is another city like Colonial Heights, but you can buy a lot of house for your money there. It's very close to Fort Lee, so we'll want to show you that. And then finally, we're going to show you a house in Hopewell. Hopewell and Colonial Heights both line the river. When you leave Fort Lee, you essentially hit the light right in the city of Hopewell. So these are going to be some of the main areas you're going to want to take a look at. Again, if we can help you with your search, please reach out to us. Let us help you find your dream home here in the area. But let's go look at some houses. Some other areas to note are going to be Prince George, a more rural area. And again, Richmond's fairly close, Midlothian, Chesterfield. But for this video, we're going to show you what you can find in a pretty affordable price point in these 4 areas. So let's go look at some houses. All right, so we are standing at house number 1 in Colonial Heights. Obviously, we started this video in Colonial Heights in the South Park Mall area. We know that a lot of people that are going to be coming and getting stationed at Fort Gregg Adams, which used to be Fort Lee, by the way. I know you're going to hear that throughout the video here and there. It's going to change it up. Are going to be looking in Colonial Heights because it's so close to Fort Gregg that this is going to be one of the main places that you're probably going to be looking at housing. So we're actually standing right now in Dunlop Farms. Dunlop Farms is a neighborhood that was built around the 1990s. So for the most part, most of these houses are not new, but fairly up to date. They're not old homes, and you're going to see a range of different styles. Obviously, as we pan around, you see colonials, you see some ranches, you see some traditional houses. There's a lot of different options through this neighborhood, and this is going to be about a mid-tier price point for Colonial Heights. So what are they getting, Galen?
So looking at this house, as you can see, most of the property is manicured. You're going to see that very similar. This is a house right over our shoulder. Has a nice irrigation system that comes with it. This house, $315,000. It's nice and spacious at 1827 square feet. So that comes in around about $172 per square foot. Looking at some of these pictures now, in our other videos, a lot of times we point to like newly renovated. You're not going to see that so much. We've got an updated kitchen, so older cabinets, but you see a new refrigerator, appliances, and things like that. But one of the key notes for a house like this is the amount of spaciousness that you're going to really enjoy if you're going to have to spread out, you bring a family, anything like that. So you can see detached garage there, so it's a workshop that you can utilize. A lot of room for family events. We're going to look at some of the pictures, see the pergola in the backyard, so a lot of entertainment space. And so that is something that's kind of indicative when, as Jared mentioned, homes that were built in that 1990s era. This is 1994.
Yeah, so next we're going to head out to Chester. Now, Chester's a little more on the outskirts of Fort Lee. When you're looking at everything, right, you're looking at kind of Hopewell, Prince George, Petersburg, Colonial Heights, Chester into Chesterfield. So you're going to see your prices kind of creep up a little bit as you get into Chesterfield, but it's still a pretty short distance away. So we're going to head to a house in Chester next, and we'll show you what you can get for your money there. All right, so now we are at house number 2. We've gotten out of Colonial Heights. Now we are sitting at Edgewood Drive in Chester in Timbury Estates. So a little bit about Chester. If you're trying to get out of the city, Chester is a part of Chesterfield. If you've seen some of our other videos, you've seen some of the things we've done in Chesterfield, in Midlothian. Chester is kind of an extension of that, but it's still pretty close into the Tri-Cities and very close to Fort Lee still. So from Fort Lee, we can get back down there. You're either gonna cut through Hopewell or cut through Colonial Heights to get down there, and you can be there in probably 10 or 12 minutes from this address. But Galen, what can they buy?
So I'm gonna switch back so you guys can see kind of the house in the background right here. It's currently still pending, so we don't know what's gonna close out, but we know it's listed $260,000. It's about 1566 square feet, so that comes up to roughly $166 per square foot. But what does that really get you? When we look at some of these pictures, you're gonna see a completely renovated house. So we're gonna see new LVP all throughout, granite countertops, you're gonna see recessed lighting. I believe both of the bathrooms were renovated. So essentially, going inside, it's a brand new house. Now, you've looked at some of our other videos and you're thinking, man, for $266, I'm getting a lot of house. And you really are when you think about the quality, but it's generally, now that we're in this area, you're gonna see a little bit different pricing set.
Yeah, now again, Colonial Heights, where we just were, that is a city. This is part of Chesterfield County, and you're gonna have essentially a lot growing up Route 10. So one thing you probably wanna look at is the Iron Bridge Road corridor. That's gonna run all the way to the city of Richmond, but you'll see they're putting up bigger grocery stores, they're putting out more restaurants, more amenities. It's really building up over the years as more housing comes down into Chester. Chester Route 10 also will run into Hopewell, which is where we're gonna finish this video. But the next stop we're gonna take is Petersburg. So this is another city, and we're gonna show you just how much house you can buy for Petersburg if you wanna be in another city location that's close to Fort Lee. So now we are at our third spot. We are actually in Petersburg. Now, Petersburg is an interesting place because you have an old historical district here in the area, and then you have a lot of stuff outside of that. It's another city, but it's a pretty big city. We're gonna pivot so you can start looking at some of these beautiful houses. And if you've looked at some of our other videos, there's one where we do a area overview of the Fan downtown in Richmond. And as we go through these houses, we see all of these awesome historical houses that in Richmond cost about $1 million. But when you get into historical Petersburg, when you get into Old Town, you will find that Petersburg is one of the most, if not the most, affordable place of housing anywhere in the Central Virginia area. So before Galen talks about this historical house that's for sale, it's incredible, by the way, as you see these pictures, just a little bit about Petersburg itself. It's kind of the hangout spot. If you're moving into the Tri-Cities, right, you're looking at whether it's Hopewell, whether you end up in Colonial Heights, whether you end up in Petersburg, whether you end up in Chester. Without going to Richmond, a lot of people have started using downtown Petersburg as their hub for fun. There's a number of breweries down here now. You've got restaurants popping up, mom and pop shops. There's good sushi. There's a good pub. There's multiple places for beer. There's Asian fusion, demolition coffee. Yeah, so this is kind of the cool little hangout. And again, downtown is very historical. So if you like that historical vibe and you're also looking to get a lot of house for your money, Petersburg's one you probably want to take a look at if you're getting relocated here at Fort Gregg Adams. So Galen, why don't you tell us a little bit about the property?
So what's really cool is that this houses like this entire street, and you look at the B-roll, this kind of puts the historicness of the area. This house built 1850, but it is massive. It's 2568 in the square foot. That's about $115 per square. But what's really
crazy,
it's blowing my mind right now. It's only $295,000. It's under $300,000, and it's a ton of house. So looking inside, you're going to see a ton of renovation. Obviously, it's going to be upgraded since it was built in 1850.
But still historic.
Yeah, exactly.
Really
it still
cool
has
historic feel.
Yeah, it's still got that historic feel. You've got a very strong civic area that they're kind of marketing up, and this is some of the things that you're going to be looking forward to, as Jared mentioned, the convenience. But inside, looking at some of these pictures, you're going to see like each floor, there's going to be 3 floors here. It's not a basement, even though some of the listings in Zillow had that information incorrect, but there's a full bathroom on the bottom, full bathroom on the 3rd floor, then there's half in the middle. Massive bedrooms. There's 6 fireplaces inside of this house. So think about all the time you can sit there entertaining and just having a great time. But again, all of this under 300,000. As Jared mentioned, you are conveniently located in one of the fastest growing hubs this side of the river.
I always get caught up looking at houses in Petersburg. When we were trying to choose a house to do for this, I probably had 4 or 5 different houses, and I was like, all of these would be good. We should just do a whole video on historical houses in Petersburg, because there's so many. If you're looking online, if you're looking on our website, centralvarealty.com, to look at houses, search Petersburg, look at all the cool houses that there are. Again, you will not find a cheaper house for the money if you want some historical, really cool value. And the fact that you can literally walk to the strip of restaurants within, literally, this is about right here, these buildings, that's the start of all of your restaurants and food going that way for those whole blocks. If you like antiques, they're huge on antiques in Petersburg. I think they do Friday art still, so they come down, they show art off, people walk around, they get their wine, they go kind of hopping from patio to patio. It's a pretty cool place, right? If you're gonna move into the Tri-Cities, definitely check out Old Town Petersburg, even if you don't end up living here. So now we're gonna go to our last stop. That's Hopewell. Again, Fort Lee kind of feeds right into Hopewell from Colonial Heights. So you're gonna be running through Hopewell daily if you're on base, whether you live there or not. So we wanted to show you at least one property for sale in Hopewell, and then we'll wrap it up. Let's go. All right, so we are standing at our last house in Hopewell. We've gone to Chester, we've gone to Colonial Heights, we've gone to Petersburg. This is our last option that we wanted to show you guys. If again, you're getting relocated to Fort Gregg Adams, Fort Lee. This is a house right here. We'll pivot before I let Galen get into it, but Hopewell is another good choice. If you look at the map with Fort Lee, you're gonna see that it is right in the midst between Hopewell, Petersburg, and Colonial Heights. So Oak Lawn Boulevard is the main thoroughfare that runs through Hopewell. 295 is also a main highway that's gonna cut through there. So you can transition up to Richmond through 295 or back to Colonial Heights to 95. So what can they buy in Hopewell?
So what makes this property unique? I'm gonna leave the camera angle right here, then I'm gonna pivot over here. It's like the house that keeps on growing. Now, it's being marketed right now. It's active listing. It's not a duplex, but what makes it unique, and we'll show you the pictures, is that they've got an in-law suite that you can enter right here. And basically you've got 2 of everything. It's priced around $305,000. You're right around like 2,500 square feet. So that bumps down to about $125 per square foot. But so you've got newer roof, newer kitchen up and down. You've got lots of entertainment area in the background. So why this might be so appealing to you, because a lot of people who are PCSing out of the area, they often think, well, I purchased a house, I would like to rent it out. Well, this has the potential to be a revenue generating property. And that's something that a lot of people are looking for, because generally, if you're looking at a duplex, you can only find that in places like Richmond or the city, but obviously we're out here. So that's something that you're gonna look at. Everything is renovated, newer roof, newer windows, newer appliances. This is something that you would definitely enjoy. And as we mentioned, it's only $304,000.
Yeah, so hopefully this is giving you a good idea. We've checked out Chester, Colonial Heights, Petersburg, Hopewell. Do your research. I would be looking up schools, average income, average home prices, difference between taxes in the city and the county. If you need us to help you with all of this, we're happy to. We know that a lot of people that are moving to the area, sometimes they even need virtuals if they're moving to base, if they're stuck on base and maybe they can't get out. We're happy to come do some virtuals for you as well. Again, we've got other videos on our channel for different areas. If this isn't the area for you, feel free to look at some of our other videos, areas, price points, but reach out to us. The information in the video below, you can email us directly. We have a Calendly link so you can set up a calendar appointment, or you can obviously call us at any of the information in the video, and we would love to help you find your dream home, no matter where it is in Central Virginia. So thanks for watching. This has been another episode of Living in Richmond, Virginia.